Okay guys, so here we are at week number 2 of perfecting your ball striking and turning you guys all into a bunch of ball striking geniuses. And I hope everybody had a fantastic week last week and got in their 1,000 reps and had some really good progress and felt what it's like to strike the golf ball nice and solidly. Now this week what we're going to do is it's still going to seem like we have our training wheels on, but all we're going to do is we're going to add in a small piece of weight shift here, and we're going to give you a little bit of a checkpoint to look for with these next 1,000 reps. And then weeks 3 and 4, we're going to really start to push you. We're going to ramp your speed up, and by the end of it, you'll have your training wheels off and you'll be striking the golf ball really, really well. So game plan wise, again, is going to be 1,000 reps this week, but we're going to start out by adding a little bit of weight shift, but I'm going to do it with a very narrow stance. So you're going to see me stand about 6 inches apart. And what my goal here is just to feel like I'm getting a little bit more pressure in my right side. So you can see my weight's way over here in my right leg. I'm going to swing my arms out to my 9 o'clock position again. You can go a little bit further if you need to, if you feel comfortable with it. Then what I'm going to do is, rather than pulling my arms down, is I'm going to just shift all my weight back over to my lead side. So you can see now I'm just a little bit out past neutral joint alignment, and that's just because my stance width is very narrow at this point. So again, I'm going to shift over to my right, and then I'm going to shift my weight to my left. So now what you can notice is that the weight shift, if I'm standing over here on my right side and then I shift my weight, you can see that that's moving my arms. That's helping you create momentum to this. So a lot of people want to get up to the right side and they want to pull their arms down, and that's the exact opposite way we want to do things. We want to allow the body to pull the arms into the hitting area and allow you to release it with some more speed. So again, we're going to start out slow, shift to the right, shift left, let the club release. Make sure you feel like your wrists and your forearms are really relaxed. Okay, you shouldn't have your feet coming up off the ground. So my goal today is I'm going to get 200 reps of that in. Then what I'm going to do for my next 200 reps tomorrow is I'm going to slowly start to widen my stance. So I'm going to go from about 6 inches to about 10 inches. Okay, so now my goal at this point is to make sure when I shift over to my right side is that my right leg is going to go into neutral joint alignment here. Okay, so shift, swing out to 9, shift. And now you're going to see that my left leg is in neutral. So I'm going to shift back into the left, and my forearms and wrists rotate very relaxed. Then after I get 200 reps of that, I'm going to widen back up here almost to where I've been my proper stance width here, about 2 inches outside of neutral joint alignment. And I'm going to spend the remaining part of my reps. So the next 3 days are going to be done at normal stance width. So I'm going to make a small shift over to the right. Okay, just about a 1 inch shift here, so you can see that I haven't got my right knee all the way in neutral. But just a small shift out to 9, big shift left. So now my left leg is in neutral, and then we're going to let it release. Now, a very, very important checkpoint for this week is to not allow your right heel to come up off the ground. If your right heel comes up off the ground, you do 100 push-ups to alleviate this. We do not want this right heel to come up off the ground. That's what can cause the body to rotate. That's what can help bring your hips forward. So when you make your reps, small shift right, big shift left, release, right heel needs to stay down on the ground. And as another checkpoint for you, when you get out here to the release point, I want both arms really relaxed. Okay, both forearms should feel like they're really relaxed, almost touching each other, and the toe of the club should be up to the sky or just slightly left. So start slow this week. We're just going to start out with our feet close together. We're going to feel our weight starting to shift. We're going to see how the weight starts to move the arms, starts to create some momentum for you. Okay, and then you're going to go to a little bit wider until you're in full stance width. And then you're going to see that you can start to hit it a little bit more crisp and a little bit further than you did last week, just by adding a little bit of weight shift. We're not changing anything else. We're not adding a ton of rotation to the body. We're not adding a ton of width. If you feel like you can make the arms go back a little bit further, so be it. Just make sure you're watching your impact positions. Make sure that you're still getting that crisp contact, and we'll check in with you guys next week. All right, so get out there, get to work. Good luck. We'll see you guys next week when we start to really ramp this speed up. Now let's make it a great day. Okay guys, so now that you just saw week number 2's drills, I want to let you know I'm going to go ahead and include a preview of a bonus clip here on the VJ release drill on our website. It's an absolutely awesome video that teaches you how to use your pinky properly, believe it or not, and that's actually going to add more speed to your release. And if you want to see this video in its entirety, then go ahead and click the link in the description below. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post those up and I'll help you out as best I can. Also, remember to click that like button down there and click the subscribe button up here for me so we can notify you anytime we release any of these free videos. Now let's get out there, get to work, check out the VJ release drill. Let's make it a great day.
Have you ever wondered why the end of your grip is tapered in the way that it is? It seems kind of strange given that your pinky on your left hand is obviously the smallest finger on your hand, and that's the fattest part of the grip. Why do you think they designed it that way? And it's also interesting because there's some grips out there that are actually reverse tapered, so that this part of the grip is actually the smallest part of the grip, and it actually gets fatter as you go down the grip where your right hand would be. So who's right and who's wrong, and why did they do this in the first place? Well, it's a great question, and incredibly enough, it's an incredibly important part of your golf swing when you understand it. So if you don't understand why this is tapered the way that it is, and you don't feel like this tapered part is actually helping your golf swing, you're going to start to understand why you probably can't get into those tour quality impact positions and why you can't pick up the club head speed you think you should have, even though you're swinging at it as hard as you can. So let's take a look at this. First thing I want you to understand is one simple piece of math that we're going to work with. For every ½ inch club length that you go up, so let's say from your 7-iron to your 6-iron, your 6-iron's probably about a ½ inch longer than your 7-iron, you're going to, on average, pick up about 2 miles an hour of club head speed, just for the sake that the club is a ½ inch longer. Simple enough, right? So for every club in the bag that we go up, for every ½ inch, we can use that as some very simple, rough estimates as to how much club head speed you're going to pick up. That's why the whole concept of a single length set of irons just simply can't work. By the time you get to your longer irons, you can't pick up enough club head speed to make up for the difference. So that's why your clubs all have to be a little bit longer than the other. That and the combination of the loft is what allows you to hit the ball further with a longer club. So we need that extra ½ inch per club to help us hit the ball a long ways. But if you're not using the club correctly, and I'm going to show you why in a second, you're going to not take advantage of that extra ½ inch, and you're going to not be able to hit the ball as far as some skinny guy like myself who hits the ball a long ways without a lot of effort. That's because I'm using the club the way it was designed to be used. So let's take a look at this. The one thing I want you to understand is that, and I've talked about this in other videos, is that the golf swing is predominantly left-hand dominant, okay? And so when you start to think of it that way, you're going to start to understand how things fall into place the way that they do. The problem is most golfers are right-handed and they're right-hand dominant, and they try to swing the golf club right-handed, and stuff starts falling apart really fast when you do that. So here's what's going to happen. And here, tell me if this is you. You come into impact and you look like this, where you're scooping and flipping it, and your right hand is causing your left wrist to break down. As this happens, what you're essentially doing is you're making the pivot point on your club further down the shaft. Whereas the way that I'm swinging with using my left hand to control the club, I'm taking every inch of the shaft and utilizing it to generate speed because my club is pivoting from up here instead of down here. So now you can imagine if I'm trying to force the club to release with my right hand, I've effectively made my iron 4 inches shorter. You're not going to be able to make up 4 inches of speed no matter how hard you flip it with your right hand. You have to use the taper in the grip and use the last 3 fingers in your left hand to allow the club to release with a lot of speed, and the club should almost feel like it's trying to slip out of your hands, and the taper is what's allowing you to hold on to it. If it wasn't tapered and you swung the club correctly, the club would actually fly out of your hands. It'd be very hard to hold on to. So that's why your grips are tapered. So now, in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you 2 simple drills that are going to help you learn how to understand and take advantage of this leverage piece of the swing to get a lot more speed with a lot less effort.